It's doing well today. Starting off a new month and ending the week. So we all know there could be a bit of volatility today. New month and end of the week typically does give us some intraday volatility trades. So we'll see what happens. There's quite a bit of rotation occurring out of your semiconductors. You can see SOXX is being dragged down right now through the likes of Western Digital, going sub 400. This one is on watch for a bounce trade. It is a market leader, so it's going to get a big bounce intraday. So that one's on watch for a long opportunity. SNDK as well, guys, is on watch for a day tradable bounce. Excuse me. Both of these names are under a little bit of pressure. What we are seeing this morning is some of that capital that's rotating out of your semis are flowing directly into software names. You got a few names in the pre-market that are doing quite well. GoDaddy, guys, this one's looking pretty good on the daily chart. Nice gap up on earnings. Earnings were pretty decent across the board. They're a very consistent, profitable company. Um, Looks like it could try to target this high pivot here around 94 bucks. That could happen too, as long as the S&P stays firm. We're looking at Team Atlassian. That's another one that's also perking up here in the pre-market. You got strength across CRM. That's gapping up on the session. Oracle, seeing some inflows. Microsoft catching a little bit of a bounce, testing 410. That chart's crazy. Apple this morning also on watch. Apple could be a big mover. What we could see today is more sell side pressure. And let me be clear, Apple earnings were pretty good. I know a lot of people are concerned about the lack of development, but they continue to be a revenue and cash cow. I mean, great, pretty good earnings in my opinion for Apple, coming in 111.18 billion for one quarter and beating EPS. So strong report. Apple spiked all the way up to this 284 and change area. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to gamma squeeze Apple to a new high. Um, right now, Apple is sitting, what, 3% away from all-time high? So that would not surprise me to see. I think with the weakness in semis, obviously Nvidia is holding steady, AMD under a little bit of pressure, Intel coming in a touch here, Marvell seeing some sell side. It wouldn't surprise me for people to sell some of these semis and push that money, try to chase some Apple 0 DTEs. So what I'm looking at today, there's actually a few trades I'm looking at. I just haven't quite decided which one, but I'm looking at trading Apple on the long side, and then I may hedge it with a SPY short. So I might look to fade SPY, but long Apple, both some 0 DTE plays, kind of sized proportionately. So Apple's looking pretty good this morning. Crypto's continuing to act pretty well this morning as well. BTC looks like it's going to push into this next little resistance zone we have. So a range of 80K to about 85K. The 200-day moving average is slap bang right in the center of that resistance. So that's not looking too bad. This morning we do have crude oil taking yet again another breather. It's still above the 7 and 20 moving average. So still acting okay. I know we're kind of losing this breakout trend line, but I think price action is still okay. If you start to lose a 7-day moving average, then crude oil might start to see quite a bit more sell side pressure. But for the time being, I think that crude still remains in a strong uptrend on the session. But yeah, software names looking spicy this morning, guys, across the board. Pretty much every software name I'm seeing is green on the session. So interesting as we're seeing crude oil softening up a little bit here. Natural gas is trying to build a little bit of momentum off of that inventory report. Big spot here for nat gas. Can it get a first little intraday or daily chart higher high? So obviously you can see that nat gas hasn't officially given us a close above this high pivot. But what could happen here, if you get a daily chart close above this high pivot, um, you could see a little bit of a short squeeze, guys, into the at least this gap fill volume shelf on natural gas. So that one's kind of interesting. You did have some energy stocks report earnings, fairly muted reactions. Chevron, Exxon. How's Chevron doing? Chevron's down a little bit more because they did do that recent buyout, so a little bit of a higher capex spend. All right, what else we have going on here? Big spike up on earnings. And you can see this built a pretty big weekly base here. So this one has a lot of room to run to the upside here. TWL, I know it's up pretty massively already off of that earnings print, but big base. This almost looks like it broke. This was your stage one basing formation. It broke out into a stage two basing formation, and now it's entering stage three. Stage three is typically your blow off moves. So Twilio, I think, is now in a environment where dips are going to be bought pretty hard. And stage three is typically that euphoric move, right? If we look back at previous cycles, it's potentially one that you can keep on your radar. TWLO. I don't know why my computer's lagging right now. 912. What do we have going on? Roku reported earnings. Let's take a peek at that. So Roku's gapping up about $11 here on the session. That's a pretty good move for Roku. My chart's lagging, guys. I'm gonna have to refresh some stuff. Why are you lagging? What the hell's going on with my chart? Yeah, Roku's also trying to break out here, stage two. Looking pretty good on the weekly time frame, guys. Roku. This one could have some legs to run. It's actually a pretty big breakout. else do we have going on? Gold, silver, strong. Oh no, gold's showing quite a bit of weakness here in the pre-market, down 0.5%. Interestingly enough, silver is up 1%. Weird. Hmm. We do. S&P is leading the charge. IWM's in second place. QQQ's lagging a little bit. Nvidia's up 0.5%. Google up down 0.36. Apple up 3. Microsoft almost up 1%. Amazon taking a breather down 0.74. Meta is just slightly green up 0.2. And Tesla up 0.56. SOXX is down 0.92. What's this ticker? Huntsman. Ticker HUN. Not a bad looking chart either. Viva also reported, another software name. Roblox is getting smashed this morning. I mean, this one could be a bit of an oversold lotto, guys. Obviously, Roblox has gone through such a big parabolic run and then a huge decline. This is a big support area. This is entering that massive stage one basing formation that you built for a couple of years here back in 2022, 2023. A couple key levels that I'm looking at on Roblox. It was interestingly enough because Roblox, off its earnings report yesterday, the reaction wicked down into this gap fill and it bounced and held for a little bit. But now it's underneath that gap. So the next gap fill that I would consider a trade on Roblox is down here around $40.30. It's pretty oversold down here. Understand that the pre-market low on Roblox did hit that $40.30 gap fill, but Roblox is nasty. This chart's going to take a while probably to firm up. Nastiness. Nasty chart. Big decline. Netflix is still looking pretty solid, guys. So Western Digital, guys, I'm looking at taking a long here on intraday. Hopefully we can flush into this gap fill. It kind of aligns with its pre-market low. So around 391, I'd take a bounce. This stock typically gets a big buy the dip program or at least a scalpable bounce. So that one is on watch for myself today. But software looks primed and ready, guys. Software looks good to go. IGV definitely seeing a rotation. I've also been looking at for a little bit of a long Unity Software's built a nice flag pattern here, guys. So Unity Software, nice consolidation here on the daily chart, and I'm just eyeing up this big gap fill. You keep holding above the 7-day moving average, so the buyers are defending near-term support, but there could be a squeeze into this gap here around 29 bucks. Let me see how far that is away. Still about a 10% move, give or take a little bit. But I know contracts are cheap. Equity's fairly cheap. So this might be a name that retail tries to bid up. Interesting. Let's look at TTD again. TTZ is another one. Trying to carve out a little bit of a base. This has just been an absolute dog shit stock. But it's trying. You might have one more dip before you make a bigger move up. But you got your first 7 and 20 cross. Come back. Yeah, TTD might be ready, guys. Might be ready. Starting to form a monthly bottoming tail. You did get that. So retraces on this monthly bottoming tail can be bought now. Not bad. Still has earnings, so there's a little bit of a overhang on it. How's Meta doing today? Small bounce on Meta. Amazon. Still taking a bit of a breather. Google still a beast. I'm just gonna grab some more coffee, guys. So I think dips in Apple, guys, are going to be bought today. I am looking at buying the dip in Apple if it does get that opportunity today, just for a scalp long. We'll see if software remains firm and semis remain weak. Right now, the dip SOXX is gapping down by a few dollars here, $4 or so. Again, I'm watching WDC for a dip buy, guys. Into that gap fill around 391-ish. I would consider a tradable balance on WDC, Western Digital. Let's get ready to rock. Here we go. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna keep Apple on watch, guys. I'm gonna probably try to pick up some Apple calls. I'm gonna look at two. I want to see what happens here. I mean, that first 10-minute candle could be wild, likely will be, but I'm gonna look at maybe 280 calls. Why the heck did it not show Apple? It's 0 DTE Friday. Here we go, guys. You got 10 seconds. 10 seconds till the casino opens. Here we go. We're open sesame. All right, so Apple 280 calls right now trading around 220-ish. They opened up around $2. Apple's pushing. Semis are breaching pre-market low. SOXX is seeing some downside sell pressure. Okay, IWM is now negative. Google's softening up quite a bit, down 1.2. Amazon's negative. Netflix looks strong. AMD, Micron all looking pretty weak. Microsoft looking strong. So yeah, semis are still seeing hard sell pressure. Here comes S&P off of the high, starting to sell off a little bit. Software making a nice push. SOXX. Guys, I might try to take a lotto downside spy put. Just gonna wait and see. Oh my God, look at Apple. Fuck. Should have just slapped the market order on those 280 calls because it's a beast right now. Full beast. IGV, guys, is up 3.3. CRM is ripping up 5%. Microsoft now at 1.28. My oh my. Software making a move, guys. Semis are still lagging here. All right, I'm going to take a 715 Lotto SPY put. 715 Lotto SPY put. It's going to be small, guys. Let's see if we get that pre-market high tap. All right, I just got filled at 12 cents, guys. 12 cents. 715 SPY put. 0 DTE. Size appropriately. I'm just picked up 6 contracts, guys. It's small. But I am looking at buying the dip still in Western Digital, but it needs to come to that lower boundary gap. Software still looking great. ServiceNow having a stellar day. Marvell down 2. Quantum seeing some mixed price action. Interesting. Fuck, I can't believe I wanted those Apple 280s. I thought we were going to at least get maybe a little bit of a liquidity pierce through that pre-market low, but they never ever gave it on Apple. That thing's a beast right now. Wow. Filthy monster. Apple dapple. Alright, what else is there to trade? Financials are mixed. SOXX is still down 1.2. Amazon lagging, Google lagging. IWM is still red on the session. Markets are still showing their strength. Crude oil dipping. Netflix still looks good, guys. SoFi up 1%. That's looking pretty decent. Apple dapple up over 4.36. Microsoft having a great day as well. Nvidia ripping. That's up 1.2. Software still your strong horse, guys. Financials are rocking and rolling this morning. Do I want to buy the dip in Unity here? Unity software. Markets are still roaring. Roaring to the upside, baby. Why is my computer lagging? Sarfraz is taking app lovin'. APP. I don't know why my system's lagging. Guys, crude oil is still softening up. Apple seeing a little bit of a sweep through this high pivot. Semis are getting a really fat bounce, SOXX. Defending pre-market low. Fuck, man, every single time that SOXX tries to pierce pre-market low, they buy it up. Crude oil is down 3.23%. WTI under 99 now. SPY is a beast. Intel's gone back to the green side now. Go figure. Can't keep that stock down. Markets are ripping. Microsoft crossing 415. Crude oil is still dropping like a rock. ServiceNow pumping and jumping. hell's going on here? All right, a little bit of a tail wick forming in Apple, guys. A little bit. Well, that's a pretty big sell on Apple. Off the highs again. I got a little bit of a lotto on these SPY 715 puts. Netflix still at 0.81. Intel getting faded slightly. Software still looking good. IWM lagging quite a bit, still negative on the session, even with the big push, guys. The Russell's looks like it's a little bit weaker here. Possibly could see a little bit more of a decline. IWM still looking somewhat weak here, guys. Gold is trying to go back to the green side. Silver, Bitcoin strong. Roblox is still down 21%. Blue Owl Capital, that's up 3.4. Palantir strong today. Nokia strong today. Semis are getting a really big bid up again. What else? SoFi is now rolled over. Riot having a great day. RIOT. Google still struggling. Rivian struggling. Seeing a little bit of an IV spike on these puts, guys. Price action has been pushing higher since I entered these SPY puts, but my contracts are not losing value. They're actually gaining value slightly. So IV's expanding on the put side here, which means that maybe we're going to get a reversal back down. But semis have had a really big bounce. Market's still looking a-okay. IWM is rolling here pretty hard, guys. The Russell 2000's coming in sharply. Let's see if the main indices want to follow suit. So in the pre-market, you did have the Russell strongest, then it was SPY. Qs were lagging, but now the Qs are the leading indice. SPY's in second place, and Russell's lagging quite immensely here. Apple's still remaining for, wow, semiconductors are looking to go green here. SOXX, big dip buy in Western Digital. Crude oil still down 3% on the session. Amazon's still struggling a touch here. Tesla looks like it wants to roll over negative. Meta maybe as well. Semis, man, these fucking semis are crazy. Western Digital, big bounce. Semis, big bounce. Apple still remaining firm. A little bit of a pullback in software. Microsoft still hanging on to 415. Nvidia back over 200, testing 202. Nvidia's like, I heard there were rumors Google's trying to take the top spot as the world's largest company. Not today. Not today. The Russell 2000, guys, is still getting pummeled here. Take a look at this IWM. I guess that's the short side trade is in the Russell. It's coming in hard. You wonder if the indices are going to follow suit. But that's a nasty little decline. It's down 0.3% IWM. There is a big confluence zone on the Russell. If you draw these trend lines, kind of confluencing in this little zone here, back inside this wedge would put it around 276-ish. Guys, price action is moving higher on the S&P, but my puts are increasing in value, so IV is expanding right now. I'm still sitting in these Lotto 715 puts. I only have 6 contracts at 12 cents. But if we get a big reversal down, these should pay quite big. Again, I'm in 715 SPY puts. It's a long shot, but we're still in an environment where there's a lot of overbought semiconductors and semis. I don't know. I still think we're going to see a big sell in these semis, guys. Still holding positive structure here, guys. Look at SNDK bouncing back to the green side. That's wild too. Crazy moves. Man, that Intel is crazy strong. I can't believe how strong it is. Fucking Trump pumps, man. Trump pumps. New highs for Intel. That is wild, man. Crazy. IWM still looking pretty weak this morning. Small caps are seeing quite a bit of distribution. Rivian is down 5%. Let's look at some of these other leaders in the software team. That's still pumping and jumping. How's GoDaddy doing? Wow, look at that reversal on GoDaddy. That's filthy. Not a bad spot if you want to take GoDaddy long. Stop loss would be this low of this green candle. But wow, that's nasty. Ouch. Hmm. IGV, a little bit of top wick distribution. Apple still holding steady. Semis are green. Holy moly. Western Digital, big dip buy. That's fucking filthy, man. Microsoft and software are starting to get sold a little bit, or at least seeing some profit taking. Still seeing these SPY puts increase even though the market hasn't pulled back. 715 SPY puts are still seeing a bit of IV expansion. Rivian's getting drained, coming right into the daily 200 moving average sitting at 1530. That's coming in pretty sharply. RIVN. Rivian. IWM still remains weak. Google remains weak. Amazon rolled over negative, and Tesla is negative. AMD still negative. JP Morgan negative. Financials are mixed on the session this morning. Rivian is dropping fast here, guys. RIVN. Dropping like a rock pretty quickly here. Backtesting the daily 200 moving average. Let's look at Tessie here. Tesla, that's rolling over. Google down 1.1. We'll keep Apple open here though. Apple still remaining firm. Semis are back to the slightly negative. Crude oil is still dripping lower. Meta has now turned negative. So you're starting to see a little bit of selling in your mags. The US dollar's trying to perk up a bit. Here we go, guys. Let's get ready to rock and roll. China stocks have rolled over. IWM still near the lows of its session. Still looking pretty weak. Microsoft still remaining somewhat firm. Apple still strong. Nvidia had that big push to 202, seeing quite a bit of rejection. Still green on the session, but only up now. It's given up the majority of its gains. So semis are now seeing more selling. Western Digital SanDisk still remain impeccably strong considering the big gap downs they had. They've been bought up with force. We might see crude oil try to make a little bit of a bounce here intraday. I could see crude oil retesting the 100 area at some point today. The Russell's still getting wrecked here. IWM. Service now still 2.8. Intel up over 2. Fuck, man. That dip by. That Apple, man. So frustrating when they just bid it up so freaking quickly. Barely any time. And I had my chain open on those 280 calls on Apple and didn't even fill me. That's crazy. Those Apple calls printed, man. Shit. Frustrating for sure. Starbucks having another great session, clearing 106 with force. I like it. Go Starbucks, go. TTD, that's up over 4%. Software names pushing. SMCI having a good day. Uranium down 1.67, so it's putting some downward pressure on your nuclear stocks. XOM just flipped green. Wonder if I should try to take some USO calls. I feel like USO is going to get a bid here very shortly. What are these USOs worth? Let's see. Guys, I'm looking at USO calls. I might take some USO calls. I take 145 calls on USO. I'm just trying to open my chain. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, I'm going to jump into some USO 145 0 DTE calls, guys. Taking a fill here, 40 cents. Sorry, 42 cents. USO, $42. Sorry, 145 calls. Again, it's relatively small positioning. I only have 5 contracts USO. Market's still pumping and jumping, pushing to the top side. Look at Apple, man. Apple wants potentially a new all-time high, guys. It could do it. It could do it. Nvidia is looking pretty weak. Just rolled over to the negative side. Nvidia rolling heavy. Nvidia rolling heavy. Semis are still struggling just a touch. Intel remains strong. IGV still holding firm. Semis are still looking somewhat weak here, guys. Market's holding steady. Crude oil still remaining pretty soft here. I'm going to keep a 50% stop loss on this oil trade in case there's any sort of geopolitical announcement. So, um, my stop loss is going to be 22 cents, just in case that we get some crazy spike candle down. It could happen, but 50% stop loss in place for my USO calls. Market's still holding positive structure here. Semis are still battling. XLF still holding green. Micron still a beast. Crude oil still softening up here. Bitcoin ripping up 3.2%. IWM still lagging. It's negative on the session. Qs are your strongest. SPY still up 0.5%. Apple Dapple still a beast. All right, crude oil dipping still. Ooh. We're getting a little bit of crazy volatility in crude here. There might be an announcement. Uh-oh. Crude is still seeing hard selling. Down 3.75. Nastiness. USO dropping below 142, helping the indices push yet again to new all-time highs. IWM still under some pressure. Nvidia, Google are negative. Apple still strong. Amazon ripping. Microsoft ripping. Meta green. Tesla green. Netflix green. SOXX just slightly negative. JP Morgan's flipped to the green side as well. So there's really been no pullback in the tape. It's just a one-way push. IGV still holding steady. Yikes, oil's dropping hard here, guys. Big candles down, now down 4.2%. Ouch. Big squeeze on the tape there, guys. Fucking, that's an oil push. Oil had a big 10-minute candle down. Intel's still looking somewhat decent. Still gonna hold these USO calls as a little bit of a lotto. See if it gets bid up. But nasty. SOXX, man, what a beast too. Trying to push to the green side. Apple's still holding majority of its gains. Marvell's trying to claw back here. Semis are still fighting. Fucking crazy. Silver ripping. Gold turned green. IWM's trying to go back to the green side. Crude oil hitting the 7-day moving average, WTI. But flailing around here, looking nasty. Fuck me, man. CRM has had a pretty good pullback intraday. Healthcare stock UNH under a little bit of pressure. Rocket Labs turning red. So once again, this is a mega cap tech rally. Bitcoin still up 3. MongoDB having a great day. That's up 6.5. Okta's up 3.86. Interesting. Datavault, that's up 6.5. MSTR, nice day, 5.5% green. Google's trying to come back to the green side. It's clawing back. Semiconductors new high of day, SOXX back to the green side. You just cannot keep those names down. What a move on your SPY, guys. It's crazy. Crazy moves. Microsoft seeing a little bit of selling off of the 416 area. It's trying to come in a little bit faster now. Microsoft seeing quite a bit more selling. Man, SOXX guys looking for a new all-time high sweep on SOXX ETF. It's gonna do it probably intraday. This market is ripping. IWM back to the green side. QQQ up over 1% on the session. Microsoft being drained. It's giving up quite a bit of its gains here. So watch your other software plays because they're starting to come in a little bit. Money seems to be now coming back out of software, right back into your semiconductors. Here comes a new all-time high for SOXX, SOXX. Financial still holding steady. XLF up 0.82. JP Morgan's made a nice move. Micron's just a straight beast. Gosh, Micron is wild. Intel's even crazier. That's up over 4.1. Marvell's now green. Man, these semiconductors just they don't stay red. They do not stay red. Still down 4.3% on the session. What else we got going on in the tape? Let's take a peek here. Energy stocks under a lot of pressure. XOM down sharply. Valero down sharply. Chevron down. VIX is being compressed here. Twilio still up 18.8%. Strong mover. SPY just won't stop. Beast mode. Absolute beast. Snapchat up 1.5. Rivian down 6.5. Rocket Labs down 2. PayPal's green today. Oracle still having a great session. That's up 4.73. Nice. Neo down 7. Wow. I wonder if Tesla's going to go red today. You're seeing a lot of these EV stocks. Neo, Rivian, all under pressure. We'll see if Tesla wants to follow suit. Man, this SPY is a beast. Apple's trying to breach its pre-market high. Still acting phenomenally well. Your DXY guys is looking for new lows on the session, looking like it's going to undercut pre-market low. Big bounce back on that Russell 2000. What a crazy, crazy dip by. IGV. So as the market has progressed and squeezed higher here, software has given up quite a bit of its gains. Money's rotated back into semis. So if we start to see semis pull back here after they've just given us a new all-time high here, we'll see if that money rotates back into software. But a lot of the software names have pulled back. So if they start to retest the highs like Microsoft or CRM, ServiceNow, this S&P can squeeze even higher. That's pretty crazy though. Oil still being drained here. Nastiness. Down 4.71%. SOXX is squeezing new highs. That is crazy. What a beast, these markets. Apple piercing its pre-market high. Micron's an absolute monster. Datavolt's trying to squeeze. DVLT. Microsoft rolling heavy here, guys. Starting to roll over. Microsoft may want to go to the dark side. Google back negative. Meta still negative. Tesla still up slightly. Netflix up slightly. Amazon ripping up 2%. Microsoft looks pretty heavy here. That's starting to roll to the downside. Again, there's a few software names that are rolling heavy, giving up the gains. I'm still holding on to my SPY puts and USO calls. Again, those are 0 DTEs, so they're fairly small positions. Down on both right now, but gonna hold them. And Intel looks like it wants that $100 area again. INTC, what an absolute monster. So what's everyone think? You think we're going to close at the highs here? Or is there going to be an intraday pullback? Apple? Is Apple going to make a new all-time high today? It's not that far away. Look at SNDK, guys. Dip and rip. I mean, holy moly. Same thing with Western Digital. Fuck. Jeez, they're crazy, man. Those stocks. Absolutely wild price action in those names. They just don't go down. They are full beasts. CRM, guys, has had a really big pullback intraday, so this software move is not looking like it's going to hold. Microsoft is trying to defend a pre-market level. CRM, wow, looking nasty right now. IGV is coming in really hard, guys. IGV, oof, man, software just cannot hold shit. So semis just get bid up. Software can't hold on to any gains. Dollar at the lows. Crude oil's trying to defend its little inverted head and shoulders breakout neckline. IGV is tapping the 50-day moving average on the hourly chart. The 7-day moving average is where it could see a little bit of an intraday bounce, is at 84.67. There might be a little bit of a trade there on software. But really nasty pullback. Service now is almost going negative. So yeah, software is not giving up a large share of its gains here. The gap is being closed. Netflix still slightly green. Intel crossing 99. What the hell's going on here? Oh, the charger. Natural gas is also rolling over. Silver still strong, up 3.4. Bitcoin up 3. Yields are red. VIX is still being compressed. Google is your only mag that is red right now. Tesla is having a big squeeze right now. TSLA pushing up 0.9%. Amazon's ripping. So yeah, your consumer discretionary ETF is acting quite well with Tesla, Amazon showing their strength. Again, guys, these markets are in that parabolic phase again where a small 0 DTE put position is eventually going to pay. We're going to have a turn in the market at some point. Don't know if it's today or tomorrow or next week, but we're in that environment again where when the turn comes in intraday, a small short position, the 0 DT far out of the money, can become a pretty big trade, just obviously size appropriately. USO down 4.6%. SOXX is seeing some selling back into its pre-market high. It's still holding above it. We'll see if SOXX wants to give up that pre-market high level. It did make another new all-time high today, but it's starting to see a little bit of sell-side pressure from that vicinity. If SOXX loses its pre-market high intraday, strong chance that it could flush back down to pre-market low. For the time being, it's holding firm. Oil dropping, new low of day. Was there news on the oil market? No. Weird. My USO calls are cooked. S&P is still a beast. Apple Dapple still squeezing. Look at that move. What an absolute beast on Apple. SOX is still trying to squeeze higher. ServiceNow has rolled over to the negative side. USO losing the 7-day. It's dropping like a rock, this oil. Sheesh. Looks like my lotto calls are going to be cooked. Jeez. IGV guys still seeing more sell side pressure. Lots of software names are starting to give up. IGV coming into that 7-day moving average at 84.65. My gosh, was there news on the oil market? Like another ceasefire? Jeez. It's crazy. New all-time high in your S&P. Another new all-time high. Quantum stocks are still showing a little bit of a lagging of price today. Data Vault's still squeezing. That's up 9%. Eastern Digital guys, after going green, wicking to another new all-time high, it is starting to come in. So that might have been a liquidity sweep to stop the shorts out. So it's starting to still had a really impeccable bounce. Apple, a little bit of a top wick. Crude oil trying to bounce a little bit. Eli Lilly having a great day. That's up 4.11%. Micron still up almost 5. AMD's flat. Tesla ripping. Meta's still negative. Google's still negative. Q's are up over 1. IWM lagging a touch today. Still sitting in these SPY lotto puts. And USO lotto calls. IGV back down to the lows. Microsoft seeing now a little bit more selling, trying to lose 412. Nvidia's flat to green. Micron, look at Micron, man. Holy moly. MU, what a move. Anyone take that on the long side? That's wild. Looking at IGV, guys, does look like IGV wants to gap and crack here. You got some intraday weakness hitting Microsoft. CRM has been faded. Palantir getting faded. AppLovin getting faded. ServiceNow rolled over to the dark side. GoDaddy, that's rolled over to the dark side. So software, once again, not holding. Uranium's trying to climb back. INTC still beast. SOXX is still holding above its opening range high levels. Holding steady. Gold had a big intraday move. AMD is now negative. Rolling over again. Netflix looks like he wants to go negative. Still sitting in SPY puts and USO. My USO call's fucking almost cooked, but there's always a chance with oil. Oil's still in a bull market, so a dip should get bought, but man, that was a shitty entry on my part. At least it's a small position. Alright, SOXX trying to retest that pre-market high. Man, LECO, that's up over 3.5. Western Digital seeing some more selling. Home builders have rolled over to the dark side. ITB. Corning, GLW down. Microsoft still trying to hold. Wow, Clorox down 8.2. That stock is just shitty. Caterpillar, holy shit, Caterpillar is gonna go for $1,000. It's at 901. That's a strong beast. ASML, slightly red. ARM is up 2.4. It's having a good day. Excuse me. Adobe, that's rolled over. Archer's negative. How's Joby doing? Joby down. That's Uber today. What a beast. Nokia is still squeezing. Western Digital coming in a little bit more. SNDK starting to come in and touch. Semis are still holding above their opening range levels. SPY still holding like a champ. AMD looking a little fragile intraday. Micron still a beast. Nvidia lagging. Nvidia looks pretty weak here intraday, setting up a potential bear flag like it wants to undercut these lows. Tesla still looking strong. The Tesla's along here, guys, above its prior day high. Not looking too bad on Tessie. See how Meta's doing. Meta's trying. Google's back green. New highs on Google. And Apple, still a beast. Intel going for another new high on the session. Software is trying to bounce again. IGV back above $85. Gold, what a move on gold too, eh? Look at that move. Beast mode. Silver's ripping as well. Let's look at the Russell 2000 again. Wow, what a bounce. Microsoft looks like it wants to gap and crack here. It's still trying to hold opening range low levels. Intel new high of day going for $100. INTC still ripping. Oh, how's Qualcomm doing today? Wow, that one's been decimated. Let's look at Broadcom, ABGO. Western Digital still coming in a little bit. Natural gas has turned negative. Crude oil is trying to bounce off the 97 area. Small bounce. Ten consecutive hours of upside for the Russell 2000. Pretty decent move. Pretty decent move, guys. Microsoft looking like it wants to take out the lows of the session. Starting to come in a bit. Do have crude oil bouncing a touch here. Markets may see a little bit of sell side pressure. SPX did hit my upside target today, 72.68. Intel's still looking like it wants that $100 area. Semis are still holding. Is Microsoft seeing some pretty hard selling? Looking weak. SFT. Qs are still an absolute powerhouse to the upside. Oracle still remaining a beast right now. Not a bad chart setup on Oracle for a long. So software, we'll see if that catches a bit. Palantir still lagging a little bit. AAPL not as strong. ETD, that's been faded. How's GoDaddy again? That's just nasty. Duolingo, that's been faded as well. ServiceNow. Yeah, Unity Software getting a big bounce as well. Nvidia is still lagging, guys. Back under 200, slightly negative. Meta slightly negative. Everything else is green across the board. AMD is struggling a little bit, but Micron's doing a lot of the heavy lifting in semiconductor land. WDC, guys, starting to come in quite sharply. Tesla squeezing. Gamma squeeze Friday for Tesla up 1.67% and flying. GME still holding about 25 bucks. That one I would have thought it would have been squeezing harder. GameStop. A little bit of a lackluster performance. Meta's now red on the session. Nvidia back to the green side. SOXX is still just sitting right on that pre-market high. Nice push up on this live wire. LVWR. S&P starting to see a little bit of sell side pressure. Where is it coming from? Nvidia? Yep. Yeah, Nvidia looks like it's going to try to attack that 20-day moving average, guys. That's at 197. Definitely looking pretty bearish here on Nvidia's chart. A pretty big head and shoulders. If you don't believe in head and shoulders, then there's a bear flag here. Wide range red bar down, consolidation in the lower 25%. Software is trying to catch another little bid here. There's a new low of day for Nvidia. USO still trying to climb back. Crude oil still down 4.43%. Guys, Nvidia looks like it wants that 20-day. 197.25 area. Yep, bear flag is breaking on Nvidia. This bear flag is breaking, and software is getting a really big bid. So that money that rotated out of Nvidia seemed to go right into IGV and software names. All indices are still green. The Russell's still lagging. SPY up 0.73. Qs are up 0.96. I'm still sitting in my SPY 715 lottos, guys. Down right now about 2 cents on the share on the cons, but SOXX is losing its pre-market high. Intel never officially hit 100, coming in slightly. SOXX is back to the negative side. You got the names like Western Digital that are also starting to roll a little bit. SPY getting a bit heavier. Again, there was some weird shit happening with the IV off the open here. Um, I don't know. There was some weird stuff. We'll see if the markets want to hold up here. Apple is still up about 5%. Microsoft up 1.3. Amazon still up 2. Meta's now red. Tesla's still looking strong. Netflix up 0.5%. Financial is still holding steady. We'll see if these semis want to give us a deeper sell. Nvidia is starting to lead the charge to the downside. You got Western Digital following suit, AMD following suit. Micron still holding steady. Intel, Marvell, those actually Marvell is negative, but Micron still holding. If Micron gives up these gains today, that would be pretty big. Pretty big. Watching Micron and Intel here on my other screens because if they start to roll with Nvidia, they've all done these new all-time high sweeps. Intel did a new all-time high sweep. Western Digital did a new all-time high sweep. SanDisk did a new all-time high sweep, but they're all starting to look like they're failing to hold the all-time highs sweeps today. Nvidia now down 1%, almost 1%. The semis are starting to roll a little bit heavier here. IGV though, eating up some of that liquidity. So as Nvidia has fallen here, you can see that a name like Microsoft has gained that additional buy-side liquidity. Same thing with IGV. You can see it's almost an inverse chart. Nvidia down, IGV getting a bid. So that's somewhat healthy for the market. The money's not just fleeing, it's rotating. Meta now down 0.5%. Google starting to roll over down 0.3. Nvidia down 0.8. Micron starting to see a little bit of selling. Micron still holding above its prior day high. That's probably one of the best barometers of the stock market right now is MU. And it is starting to see a little bit of selling. If it loses prior day high, you might get a bigger flush, but we haven't crossed that point yet. A little bit heavier selling, guys. Oil is starting to perk up. Still got USO 145 lottos, SPY 715 downside lottos. Still seeing IGV and software holding steady as the semiconductors are seeing quite a bit more profit taking. How is that SanDisk SNDK? Yeah, that's starting to come in as well. But Micron and Intel, guys, those are the ones truly to watch as well. Micron's still above its prior day high. AMD starting to get heavier here. Looks like that's going to break down pretty sharply here. Again, Nvidia, let's see if it wants that 20-day moving average is not that far away, guys. Not that far away. 197.18 currently speaking, coming into that zone quickly. Microsoft still pumping and jumping. Tesla still holding. SPY's still seeing some sell side pressure. Come on. Hitting the session. Crude oil trying to uptick. Let's get it. Come on. IWM still green. That probably should roll back down to the negative side. Nvidia now down 1.1. Google selling sharply down 0.7. Meta down 0.76. SOXX down 0.4. AMD down 1.24. Micron starting to test prior day high, losing it currently speaking. Still a little bit of ways from your pre-market low on your semiconductor ETF. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon still holding positive structure. Apple still up 4.7, Microsoft up 1.3. Here's the thing though, if software starts to give up some of these gains, this market could go deep. All right, our SPY puts are now starting to go in profit. Just been patiently waiting with them. USO still holding those calls. They absolutely got decimated. I mean, my oh my. It was a pretty shitty entry, but just the nature of the beast. ServiceNow bouncing, holding steady. CRM still holding steady, up 2.3. Markets look like they could gap and crack today, guys. SPY could potentially gap and crack. IWM starting to lose a little bit of momentum here. Micron's trying to defend that prior day high. Possible intraday bear flag on Microsoft. Bigger sell side pressure hitting the tape, guys. Let's get it. Come on. Man, if these 715 SPY puts somehow get in the money today, that would be wild. What are we? Still about a 1% decline? It could easily happen. So if the market gaps and cracks, that's only about a 0.5% downward. Yeah, that could happen. That could play out. All right, IGV now starting to give up some of the gains. Crude oil still starting to spike. US dollar trying to curl up. Gold could see some sell side pressure. Same thing with silver. Come on. Big sell. You got the VIX on a Friday starting to perk up a little bit. Only down 0.8%, but usually they love to crush that VIX. They crushed it early in the morning. Stopped people out of their hedges. We'll see. How's Intel still a monster? AMD still a monster. S&P coming into that pre-market high zone, opening range. A little bit early, but maybe starting to put in a topping tail on the daily. Still a little bit early to tell. Semis are trying to bounce a touch more. Nvidia obviously bouncing. Look at that bounce, guys, on Nvidia. Damn, that's a beast of a wick. Didn't officially hit the 7-day moving average. I would say it kissed it. Air kiss. Missed it by a little bit. Defending prior day low on Nvidia. It's helping semis hold some structure. Microsoft still looking somewhat weak intraday. Software still trying to hold steady. Big bounce on Micron off of that PDH level. USO still trying to climb and claw back here. Crude oil still trying to bounce. Still down 3.6%. It wouldn't surprise me to see crude oil go green. Does anyone have any news on crude oil today? I mean, it was a pretty big decline intraday. Was there like more peace talks or something? Or is that just a technical rollover? I didn't really see any news this morning. I didn't look too hard, but China stocks are now seeing sell side pressure that could be anticipating the US dollar firming up a little bit more intraday. It's still down 0.25%. Trying. Crude oil is still trying to push a little bit higher here. It's still holding somewhat steady here, guys. This is a big spot. They could try to bounce it back to the highs again. Nvidia's seeing a little bit of resiliency off of that prior day high liquidity sweep. Apple pulling back slightly, still up 4%. Microsoft up 1, Amazon up 2, Meta's slightly red. Tesla's still ripping, guys. Tesla's showing some strength here. Big Tesla move. Yeah, Netflix is still looking pretty decent here, guys. Netflix chart showing some positive structure. It has broken out on the hourly chart for Netflix, and if it closes up in this vicinity on the 4-hour chart, it does show a potential breakout. So Netflix, if it can get above that 50-day, which is 94.72, Netflix should squeeze quickly to potentially $100. But I like Netflix. It's looking pretty good. Oil's still trying to claw itself back here, guys. USO above 142 now. WTI down 3.58, but it's trying to bounce a little bit. Defending the 7-day moving average for the time being on oil. Micron seeing a little bit more selling here. Intraday still holding above that prior day high. SOXX is still holding steady. Nvidia breathing into it some life. Surge on Nvidia. Tesla's a full beast right now, guys. Crazy. Look at that move. Tesla looks like it's gonna try to attack this previous little neckline breakdown zone, which is around 393-ish. It's looking strong. It's looking strong. Maybe. Maybe it's going to have one of those epic Friday gamma squeezes into this, even 396. Surging. It is surging. Micron's starting to see a little bit more sell side pressure, guys. USO still climbing back here. Crude oil trying to climb back. Might be a little bit of a lotto trade in some of these energy stocks too. If crude oil can bounce and hold here, showing quite a bit of resiliency. Ron's starting to come in, guys. It's looking like it's piercing that prior day high. So it is starting to see a little bit of rejection here. MU, big weighting in your SOXX, but NVIDIA is still showing its strength. So once again, we're not seeing capital fleeing. We're just seeing it rotating. Oil still trying to claw itself back. Bigger sell pressure in Micron. How's Intel doing? INTC also starting to curl slightly lower. Micron may want to do a good old-fashioned gap and crack, guys. SPY puts are still slightly green. What's interesting is I'm noticing that these SPY puts, they should be decaying here, but they're not. So I don't know if the market makers are pricing in a decline, but these SPY puts are holding their value relatively well despite us barely even selling off here. So I'm not too sure what the heck's going to happen here. Software still holding steady. Intel still pushing. Intel's just a full-on face ripper. INTC, new high. Crazy. Yeah, theta burn time for sure. We're still seeing oil and the dollar trying to perk up a little bit. Bitcoin's pullback, silver, gold to pull back. You are seeing a market leader, Micron, pulling back here. Sammys are still trying to hold. SOXX still trying to hold. Still could be setting up a bit of a decline here in the S&P. But software is trying to get a bid here. The market's remaining a-okay as long as if crude oil kind of pushes higher from here, then the markets may sell. But for now, they're acting okay. Still sitting on these bullish opening range levels. Intel's just a full-on beat. Intel going for 100, guys. 99.99, it just tapped. INTC, it's gonna hit 100. Back into the triple digits. There it is. Intel just hit 100. Big volume just came in off that 100 level for Intel. INTC still squeezing. Look at that thing. What an absolute monster. Trump's like, no one's making money trying to short Intel. Tesla still ripping. Apple still holding. Google back to the green side. Nvidia back to the green side. Intel, what an absolute monster up here. Netflix is trying to move higher as well. Still looking pretty solid, guys. NFLX. Micron still seeing some heavier sell side pressure. Micron still seeing heavier sell side pressure, guys. MU. Again, guys, quite a hard sell candle coming into Micron here. Intel, potential little reversal wick building on the 10-minute chart. We'll see if that turns into a little bit of a topping tail. SOXX is back slightly red. Crude oil still trying to grind a little bit higher. S&P coming into that pre-market high. Crude oil climbing back. S&P starting to see more sell side. Again, still sitting in these SPY 715s, guys. Does look like the S&P is going to gap and crack today. Come on. Come on, drop it. Micron looks like it may go negative. Look at Western Digital, guys, too. That's also getting drained pretty quickly. MU still coming in. Just coming into a little bit of a support area here on Micron, but it's looking pretty heavy. Nvidia is still climbing. It's negative. Google negative. SOXX negative. Meta negative. Tesla still ripping. Apple starting to come in. Microsoft still holding steady. Looks like it's trying to grind to the highs. Crude oil, guys, is starting to push up again. Still got these 145 calls that were down sharply. Now I'm only down by about 6 cents a con. So they're coming back. They are coming back. SPY still being defended. Crude oil guys still trying to push higher. USO, is it gonna go for a gap fill? We'll see. WTI. So look at the level that crude oil WTI back tested. This little breakout bar, 7-day moving average. It's getting a pretty decent bounce intraday. Looking somewhat more firm. USO guys, we're now flat on those calls. This market should see some more selling. It's really going to come down to these semis, I think. So semiconductors can retest the lows around 455. Should be pretty big. Come on, drop it down, baby. Drop it down. Intel still trying to hold near the highs. Beast, absolute beast. So still looking pretty strong. Ripping. Even if we retest, the weekly low on our S&P is down here around 708. So a basic 236 retrace takes us to 721-ish. 382 takes us 17. 50% on the week takes us to 716. So even if we get a hard pullback today, you still have a phenomenal weekly candle. Very strong weekly candle. SNDK is a snake? Yeah, SNDK is snaky. What's it doing? Yeah, coming in. Semis are still trying to hold. USO still trying to grind higher. Nvidia back to the dark side. Google selling. AMD still selling. Markets are trying to hold. Take a bit of a break here. Probably gonna end the day early, Friday, grab a weekend. If anything crazy happens, I'll put a Telegram alert. But markets look like they're holding, just burning out theta. Semi's still strong. Software still holding steady. Financials are holding steady. Crude oil's still somewhat weak. Well, it looks like they're gonna have another green day here on the session. Yeah, honestly, I mean, the two barometers of the stock market seem to be now Intel and Micron, so um, I'd highly suggest you keep your eye on those two stocks because they're leading things, leading the charge to the upside. But it is a crazy market, that's for sure. Oil's trying to make another little push here, so we'll see if the market reacts. USO trying to climb. I'm gonna hold these 145 puts, guys, and my spies. I mean, spies are almost dead here, but the market could still see a little bit of a late day sell. Oil's getting a decent push here, so if oil starts to try to go green here, probably we'll see the S&P give up some of the gains, but for the time being, it's holding steady. Holding steady. Big push, guys, on oil. There's a pretty big push here on oil. Nice move on USO, guys. Calls are finally minting to the green side. Come on. Look at Tesla go. Tesla now up over 3%. Ripping. All right, guys. Everybody have a good weekend. I'm gonna close the YouTube stream. I'll keep the Telegram stream going for a little bit longer. I'm gonna close up YouTube here, guys. Everyone on YouTube, have a good rest of your weekend. Yeah, we'll see you all next week.